Hey guys, this is Xenom. I'm here with Absentis doing the second game between MakaPrime and Huk. So MakaPrime does have a one-game lead, and I do want to make a quick little addendum, I guess, to what I said in the last game. This is round 4, I believe, and from now on we're just not going to even mention what round it is because we're going to screw up. So, uh, yeah, Maka
Yeah,
is the red Terran at the 6, and Huk the blue Protoss at the 8.
yeah, we saw Maka Prime take the last game fairly convincingly with a Marine Marauder, Medevac, and Viking build against Huk's Gateway and Colossus build. Uh, if you just saw that right there, Maka Prime took an SCV and checked behind the smoke very quickly. I'm guessing he wants to make sure that he didn't have a probe slip by him. We're also seeing a difference from last game that Maka Prime appears to be starting to wall off as opposed to the steps where he didn't and faced a lot of early game pressure from Huk.
Yeah, this is a little strange. I mean, because in general, the wall off, you'd think that it'd be more common on, well, or more favored on Steps of War, a short rush distance, versus this map, Metalopolis, where they're, pretty far apart, no matter where the spawns are. They're still going to be a little bit further than Steps of War at the very least.
Yeah, it could just be like a psychological element to it. Not all games are played rationally, and especially in this kind of tournament situation. Maka Prime does have experience from the GSL, but still, it doesn't, is not a like a 10-year veteran by any means. His depot is in an interesting position. It's going to allow for an add-on for part of that wall, just as Huk now scouts him out.
Yeah, and it's kind of worth noting that there are barely any 10-tier veterans. We have Boxer and um, yeah, we have Boxer.
I believe you made your point.
Maka gonna throw down a pretty quick second barracks now. He does have the first gas up, and Huk, everything pretty standard on his side. Only getting that core up now. It's about 40% done.
Yeah, interesting to note that the first add-on that Maka Prime's making is a reactor. It seems to be much more common on the Korean server to do that, while in the North American you usually see tech labs first for upgrades. But as we saw in last game, Maka Prime delayed his upgrades for quite a while, and that worked out pretty well for him. His SCV is now going to scout out Huk.
Yep, they are in closed air position, so it's possible that we'll see yeah, well, Banshees, I guess, or Void Rays, but in general, that seems a lot less popular in these pro level play, as instead of say Diamond or even Upper Platinum, where you might see that more often. Maka is going to get a scattered on this entire base, and he's not going to see anything too unusual. Going to hide this SCV in here and just barely dodge. Okay, there we go. Now taken out.
Yeah, now Maka Prime's going for a pretty standard 3 racks build, also getting stim very quickly, while Huk is deciding to fast expand, so it's a 1 gate FE from him.
Yeah, this is pretty risky because he hasn't seen the reactor. That might be why. Because that reactor does mean that if Mako decides to, he could put on a lot of early pressure with those Marines, and Huk just won't have enough to deal with this early on because he only has the single gate up. He's only now getting up the Robo and his second gateway, and this expansion just leaves him pretty light in terms of troops.
Yeah, I think he was able to psych out his opponent. Maka Prime put down that bunker, which usually indicates early defensive position where you're going to be teching up, but it instead looks like he's going to be doing a one base very strong attack soon. He's got a Reaper now going, kind of checking around. He's probably going to see the expansion soon, and once he sees that, he'll probably feel comfortable pushing out.
Yep, we've got 8 Marines out so far, and 2 Marauders on the way and another 2 Marines, so looking pretty normal aside from this early reactor, I guess. But he should be able to do a pretty nice amount of damage. And if we just check Maka Prime's vision, he has not seen the expansion, and he was forced to run away because of those stalkers.
Now you might be assuming that because the stalkers were out there, there is an expansion up. The pros game sense is a lot better than say yours or mine, but it's unusual to have troops out there at the beginning of the game unless you have an expansion to protect. Now, MakaPrime is almost finished with his shields upgrades, about 75%, and I imagine he'll be pushing out very soon to have that attack coincide with the finish of that upgrade.
Yep.
Oh, and he's actually pushing out right now, which will have it timed very nicely.
Yep, and he's got a really nice force over here. We've got 11 Marines and 5 Marauders, and Huk might be able to hold this off. It's all going to come down to the stimming and the positioning of the Marines and the Marauders, but I think that Maka's control is going to be enough to take this out, I think.
Interestingly enough, Huk doesn't have any sentries for force fields. Huk's going to see this coming. He's going to observe a scan going down, and MakaPrime is going to be waltzing right in, forcing Huk to pull all these probes to try and defend.
Stim going down now, and yeah, Maka trying to engage. Yeah, Huk trying to move back here, but this is not a good position for him. There's a better arc here for Maka, and this means that he's probably going to be able to take out, yep, all the Zealots are now down, and this means that Maka's going to have a really easy time against all these Stalkers.
Yeah, there's only a couple Stalkers now against probes. Huk pulling all the probes from even his main now, stimming once again. These Marauders just eating up those Stalkers now, and an Immortal finally coming out, so that might be able to hold things off for Huk.
Yeah, Maka is trying to reinforce here with some, reinforcements. He does, this Immortal still doing a fair amount of damage, although it's mostly on the Marines, not the Marauders, where it needs to be done. Some sentries only now popping up, but pretty useless force fields, and I think that Huk is just barely going to be able to defend this because of that Immortal.
Yeah, Maka's bringing in, a very nice amount of reinforcements now. Stimming again, is going to be able to take out this Immortal now, and Huk calls good game, so MakaPrime takes that series 2-0.
Yep, very nice play by him.